Get ready for the speed. Start.
The world is in a bad way, and this great continent of Asia and Europe and the rest of the world are in a bad way and are faced with problems which might almost appear to be insurmountable. And sometimes one has the feeling that we were all actors in some terrible Greek tragedy which was moving on to its inevitable climax of disaster. Yet when I looked at this picture again from afar and from here, I had a feeling of hope and optimism, not merely because of India but also because of other things. I saw that the tragedy which seemed inevitable was not necessarily inevitable, that there were many other forces at work, that there were innumerable men and women of goodwill in the world who wanted to avoid this disaster and tragedy, and there was certainly a possibility that they would succeed in avoiding it. But to come back to India, we have, ever since I moved this resolution before the House, passed through stage transitions and changes. We function here far more independently than we did at that time. We function as a sovereign, independent nation, but we have also gone through a great deal of sorrow and bitter grief during this period, and all of us have been powerfully affected by it. The country for which we were going to frame this constitution was partitioned and split into two. And what happened afterwards is fresh in our minds and will remain fresh with all its horrors for a very long time to come. All that has happened, and yet, in spite of all this, India has grown in strength and in freedom, and undoubtedly this growth of India, this emergence of India as a free country, is one of the significant facts of this generation, significant for us and for the vast numbers of our brothers and sisters who live in this country, significant for Asia and significant for the world. And the world is beginning to realize that India's role in Asia and the world will be a beneficent role. Sometimes there may also be a measure of apprehension because India may play some part which some people, some countries with other interests may not particularly like. All that is happening, but the main thing is this very significant factor that India, after being dominated for a long period, has emerged as a free, sovereign, democratic, independent country, and that is a fact which changes and is changing history. How far it will change history will depend upon us, this house and other house, like this, representing the organized will of the Indian people.
Stop.